Hey guys, it's Travis. Today we're going to be doing um, going over my favorite Pokemon of every type and generation and category. This is my third attempt at recording this because I still hadn't gotten through Gen 1 by 30 minutes in because I was rambling. So, key points I described in that. This is also inspired by PM7 John and MJTV Mikey. Shout outs to them. Um, Pokepark, where I started Pokemon games. Really hope they revive that someday. Same with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. Hopefully it gets a DX like Rescue Team did. Ow, my cat bit me. And I like Super Mystery Dungeon. By the way, if any of you, I doubt many people will agree with me. It's okay to agree or disagree or like or dislike any of these picks. These are just my favorites. Let me know yours in the comments. So let's get started. The link will be in the description for this website. For normal type for Gen 1, I put Tauros. I was born May 16, 2001. My birth sign is Taurus, which, if you don't know, is a bull constellation. I mean, I'm not big on astrology or astronomy or whatever it's called, but I mean, it does interest me. That's not like a big part of my personality. And bulls are cool, man. The fire. Charizard is very popular. It has 4 forms. Its regular form, the 2 Megas, and its Gigantamax. This is something I discussed in the previous attempt. Arcanine is really cool. I say Arcanine because in Pokepark 1, it says Arcanine, I think. If I can figure out how to emulate the Pokepark games with a stable candle setup, we'll make videos on that, or try to. And so, highly recommend those 2 games, Pokepark and its sequel. Charizard has 4, but Charizard is not the Pokemon with the most attention. Let me tell you, Meowth has like 7 forms. Cantonian Meowth, Cantonian Persian, Alolan Meowth, Alolan Persian, Galarian Meowth, Berserker, and then Gigantamax Meowth, which I really like. Berserker. It's a really cool design. But it has gotten more than Charizard, and people don't seem to realize that. They just always point fingers at Charizard. Charizard is cool. I really like dragons and reptiles in general. Skyrim was my favorite game, and dragons are a big part of that game. I hope Bethesda unfucks that game like they did recently. I'm too scared to play it now because I've heard none of my mods will work. They put mods behind a paywall for the second time. Last time they did it, I never even played Skyrim yet at that point. So for fires, I love all of these. I'm going to have to say Vulpix. It's just so adorable. For water type, I'm going to have to say there are a lot of great ones here. Lapras, the Loch Ness Monster, Plesiosaur, which is not a dinosaur, it's a marine reptile. I learned that in Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I am a big fan of cryptids and folklore figures and beings and creatures like that, and ghosts and the paranormal. So Lapras I really, really like. For the grass type, Bulbasaur, the original in the Pokedex, not the first ever created. The least popular are the three starter choices, it seems. I like Pokemon Talk, him and JTV's thing. It's a cute little frog with a seed on its back, or a ball, I guess. Electric, I like all of these, but I have to say, Electabuzz always looked like a tiger to me. I know it's supposed to be a monkey or ape or something, but it really gives me a tiger vibes, which I really like. I've always really liked about it. Electivire doesn't look very tiger-like, at least. Dugong, I like Dugong for the ice type. I know it's just a regular sea lion, but in Gen 9 it looks really good in the Indigo Disc. I know people don't like Gen 9 graphics, but we've never really played Pokemon games for their graphics. We came from 2D black and white pixels with red, blue, green, and yellow. If you didn't know, green was... instead of red and blue in Japan, it was red and green. So, I really like it. For fighting, now I will say, the Primeape and Mankey line do look more cat-like than pig-like to me. Really, the only pig-like thing I see is the nose. Everything else looks like pig-cat. Or, God, I'm an idiot. I'm saying the opposite of what I'm meaning to say. Cat-monkey. Because cat ears, cat fur, cat eyes, like as in the shape. Cats are wrongfully stereotyped into being categorized as assholes. I've never met an asshole cat. And then you got, for the monkey part, obviously the limbs, the arms, the legs, hands, feet. Well, the hands are more like boxing gloves, but on a poison, Arbok without a doubt. All these are really great. Nidoking is cool. Nidoqueen is as well. In the future, I will do a shiny version of this, like PM7 did. I really like the Zubat line. By the way, I really think that it's popular belief that Kakuna was supposed to evolve into something, but more importantly, it was that Venonat was supposed to evolve into Butterfree, and Metapod was supposed to evolve into Venomoth, which I agree, I believe in. And Heart Gold was my first main series game. I always went to the game corner and saved up enough coins on the Voltorb game. Hey, say hi to the people? Yeah. She says hi. My cat Fluffy. He's a sweetie. I know there was Giratina. No, imagine. Dratini. Dratini. I forget which the other one was. What was it? It was Ekans, Dratini, and one second. Abra was the other one. I always worked for this one. So I guess it's good I did Heart Gold instead of Soul Silver. If I did Soul Silver, I would have worked for Dratini for obvious reasons. But I've always really liked reptiles. As I mentioned before, Skyrim and dragons and stuff. Just so cool. By the way, I want to show you a regional form I wish was real for Arbok. I saw this in a video when PM7 was reacting to Reddit posts. I forgot to type in Arbok. I showed this in the last attempt at recording this. Right here. I really hope someday there's a Western or Wild Western themed region. Or, me personally, I want a Midwestern region, but I doubt that'll ever happen. I really hope Gen 10 will be... I'll explain that later. Look at this. This looks so cool. Tell me that does not look cool. Let me know if you think that looks cool in the comments. Apparently there's also this one. The Fireground. I think the one I showed you prior is way cooler. Fire, or Poison Fire. We've only got, as far as I know, one Poison Fire line. And that's the Landit's line. Ground. It's Rhyhorn. I really like Marowak too, though. The Pokédex rips on Rhyhorn's intelligence, but in the anime, I wish I could watch the entire anime, but Pokemon TV's app on Switch does not have all the seasons. 1, 2, and then eventually ends up Gen 7. Don't know why we jumped like that. I did watch a little bit of Gen 7, though, the episode where Palossand swallows Ash and Litten. And in the anime, in XYZ, apparently Serena's mom has a Rhyhorn, and it ended up using the mom's laptop to watch the daughter's contest show all by itself. Rhyhorn does not have opposable thumbs. And it must have been difficult to open a laptop when you don't have, you probably use its horn or something. Guys, let me know what episode that is if you guys know. I want to watch it. So for flying type, Gyarados, I've used Gyarados many times. It was my first legit shiny recently, which I uploaded a clip of. My YouTube channel didn't really get the amount of views I was expecting, but something's better than nothing. Shiny Gyarados is one of the greatest shinies of all time. Chinese water dragons are really cool. Chinese water dragon. That's what my half-brother told me. One second. Yeah, Chinese dragons. Basically, Chinese dragons in the water that don't have any limbs except for tail. I've used them many times. It being my first legit shiny in a mainline game in Scarlet, despite there being a guaranteed one in Gen 2 and Gen 4. Mew is my favorite psychic type of all these. I do not like this Pokemon at all. I don't know if there's anybody on Earth that does. M&J TV fans are the reason why I'm starting to really dislike Drowsy. They like to fantasize those two as a couple. And it does annoy Mikey, understandably. Scyther is the greatest bug Pokemon of Gen 1, hands down. Pinsir is really cool too, though. But Scyther's always gotten me the victory in the bug contest. Wait, how are we looking on time? 15 minutes. I'm sorry. For rock type, I have to say Aerodactyl is just so cool. I love dinosaurs. By the way, Indigo Disc's Terrarium reminds me of Ark Survival Evolved's Extinction DLC. Haunter is my favorite ghost type. It's bigger than Gengar. I just love Haunter so much. I've got so much sentiment. I've used it every time it was available. Heart Gold, Platinum. Sadly, it wasn't in the Gen 5 games. I would have loved to have Haunter alongside one of my favorite Gen 5 Pokemon, which I'll discuss later. And it doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Everybody's like, oh, Gengar is the best. The whole Mindy trading you a Haunter with a Neverstone, it wouldn't have bothered me. I didn't have access to trading when I was a kid, so I didn't get to have a Gengar or an Alakazam or a Rhyperior or a etc. Dragon is Dragonair, I mean. Dragonite is really cool too, though. I know a lot of people say it's goofy, but I really like Dragonair. Discuss that. I mean, Aerodactyl's cool. Somebody can tell me what these two are from. I'd be appreciative. Magnemite is so adorable, and its shiny is really good. It looks really good in Scarlet and Violet. If I had to pick a fairy type, it's definitely Wigglytuff from my Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky playthrough. Favorite starter, Eevee. If Eevee wasn't there, I'd pick Charizard. Eevee's just so adorable. If you ever play Pokemon Infinite Fusion, fuse Eevee and Vulpix together. It's so adorable. I didn't play the Gen 6 or 7 games unless you include Super Mystery Dungeon. And that's as close as I got to Gen 6 and 7. I was mostly familiar with Gen 1 through 5 because of Pokemon games. Is there a single one on here that I don't like? No. Aerodactyl. Mega Evolutions are cool. I don't really think they need to come back because MJ TV makes a really good point. Mega Evolution seems very unethical. If you read any of the entries, these stones really hurt Aerodactyl. It's Mew. I know it's a mythical, but MJTV did say that mythicals were a subset of legendaries, and I agree with that. So adorable. Mewtwo just looks like an asshole. My favorite Gen 1 overall is Haunter. So much sentiment. It's still one of my favorite Pokemon. It's tied at number 1 for me. Gen 2, finally. For Gen 2, for the normal type, you are not even an option. Dunsparce. Ursaring's really cool to you, though, but I'll discuss this Pokemon later when Gen 9 rolls around in 100 years from now. Fire type. I really don't like what they did for Dunsparce. Gen 2's Fire type. I like this line. I like Entei. I like Houndoom. I like Ho-Oh. Magcargo, though. It is such a great Pokemon, and it's really fascinating. It's one of the points that is brought up in the all Pokemon versus a few billion lions argument. This thing is twice as hot as the surface of the sun. Water types. I really like Octillery. I really like Suicune. Let me know if I'm saying that right. PM7's love for this thing is rubbing off on me. This thing is cool. Or this thing is adorable and whatnot. For alligator though. For alligator, I don't know how to pronounce it at this point. Need I say more? We need more crocodile alligator Pokemon. It is a crocodile though. Crocodile, crocodile. Then it turns into a gator. Grass type. I don't hate Meganium's line at all like everybody else does. I like Bayleaf. I like the leaves around its neck and the hole in this leaf. Electric type. I like all of them, but I gotta say Raikou. First legendary I ever encountered. For ice, I'm gonna say Piloswine. I do like Delivered. By the way, that is how it's pronounced. It's not a delivery bird, it's a play on the word deliver. Sneasel is really good too. Piloswine, though, such a cool concept. Fighting is Heracross. Hitmontop is kind of meh. Meh. It's a really cool, what's the name of it? It's an elephant beetle or a dynast beetle? Rhinoceros beetle. Crobat's my favorite poison type. I don't think I need to explain why. Favorite ground type of Gen 2. Here I'm going to say Steelix. Need I say more? I might not explain every single one, just for the purpose of time. Flying, Gligar. Oh boy, Psychic. Not the biggest fan of this Pokemon, but I prefer it over this one. Girafarid's evolution is cool. I heard a really good story of Mikey from MJTV and Unknown D. Go check out his video of I discovered Pokemon I thought were gone video. T, my name is Travis, it starts with T. So that's a runner-up. Espeon, though. I really love it. Not my favorite evolution, but it is good. Bug type. Sizzle is fantastic. Shuckle as well. Oh, wait. I can put Sizzle here and Shuckle here. If you guys know who Dorkly is and know if Pokedex entries were literal, which I'm going to react to more stuff like that and other Dorkly content. Not a whole lot of options there, so I don't think I need to explain that. Same there. Dark type. Oh, wait a second though. Umbreon. But I also really like Mr. Godzilla right there. Just know, if I could pick two here, it would be Umbreon and Tyranitar. The floor tentacles are drowning me. Sorry. Oh, wait. We can do this. I'm a dumbass. Sorry for how long this is taking. You can skip ahead or to the end if you want to see the entire list. If I had at least favorite type, it'd be Fairy, but kind of trying to change that. The Terra Raids for Dialga and Palkia I've been trying to do and failing every time. I do have Dialga and Palkia and Scarlet, thanks to Legends Arceus. I'm trying to strengthen this fellow. So adorable. By the way, I pronounce I pronounce this Pokemon as Azuro. Some people say Azuro. But in Pokepark it says Azuro. Great impression, remember, right? And I pronounce this Pokemon as Marill, as in like marine, and Azumarill. Azumarill I really like. Probably my favorite fairy type. For starter, it's for alligator without a doubt. Gimmick form. I really like all of these. I know PM7 says Heracross looks like a garden gnome. I think we need a Houndoom evolution that's based off of Cerberus, the three-headed dog. I'm gonna have to say Mega Scizor, but I really, really like Mega Houndoom and Godzilla. They're car. Entei is gonna be there because it's so cool. By the way, they are not dogs; they are cats. Saber-tooth tiger. Favorite overall has to be for alligator. So much nostalgia and sentiment. Gen 3 for the normal type. Mikey's love for cast form is really rubbing off on me. I like this. If you don't know, this is a Mr. Dungeon reference. And this one's really adorable, as is this one. Zoom is adorable. Being a DS kid, I didn't get to play Gen 3 games, so I didn't get to experience these Pokemon. There's... So my favorite is between these two. Pokepark made me think that this was a Gen 5 Pokemon. Gen 3 Fire. I'm gonna go with Camerupt. We need more camel Pokemon. It's just so cool. Water. This is a tougher choice. It's between Wailord and Sharpedo. This Pokemon gets overlooked a lot. I like Relicanth as well. Here I'm going to say Wailord. Come on, it has Lord in the name. I feel like Wailord needs to be bigger in the games. It's not the biggest Pokemon anymore because of Eternatus or whatever. Grass. Mikey's love for Tropius is rubbed off on me. I'm all for, Pokemon getting baby forms just for, design wise and lore. Manectric for electric. Glalie. It's between these two. It's times like this I wish I could really pick two or more. I randomly ran into a shiny Meditite the other day while looking for Dolive south of Alphanata in Scarlet, trying to fill my decks. Just randomly ran into it. Marking my third shiny ever. Legit shiny ever. After Gyarados and Litwick. Not a lot of options here. I'm gonna say Blaziken. It's really cool. We need more chicken Pokemon. So Viper's my poison type. Because I really love snakes. Never had one, but won't be against having one. For ground, Nincada's ground? I did not know that. It's between Flygon, Claydol, and Groudon. I think I will go Groudon though. There's something else in mind for Legend. Flying, it's gonna be Salamence. Yeah. By the way, Salamence looks more like a frog, or at least its paradox looks more like a frog than. Kind of like a mix between frog and salamander. These thoughts were put into my head by PM7. Psychic. By the way, I think Psychic Pokemon should be super effective against flying Pokemon. For the reason that because of telekinesis, being able to move things with the mind. It should just be able to pull a bird right out of the sky. Speaking of other things, ice should be super effective against water. Water still super effective against ice. Water should be super effective against electric, and electric would remain super effective to water. Because you pour water on an electronic device, that electronic device will no longer work. Grass should be called the plant type because there's more than just grass. Like, oh, what's an example? Chikorita is a pear, also a dinosaur, but a pear. Pears are not grass, and so on. And I think, well, I think Ghost should be able to affect normal because people that have had paranormal experiences have been scratched by ghosts. So, Dark doesn't need to be super effective, or Fire doesn't need to be super effective against Dark because in Japanese it's the evil type, not Dark as in like darkness. So, Steel should be weak to Electric because, like, Steel, which should be called the Metal type, because, like, Aeron, for example, name is a play on iron. Iron is used to make steel, but it itself is not steel. What am I doing? So those are my claims. I also watched MJTV's If There Was an Earth Type video. I think rock should be immune to poison because how the hell do you poison a rock? And go for the same reason that ghost should be normal should not be immune to ghost. Same reason for fighting the ghost. Enough of that rambling rant. For psychic, I'm gonna put between these two. Yeah, psychic Claydol. It's just so cool. Such a cool design. Bug is a little difficult. I really like these two. Probably for obvious reasons. You can probably guess why. But this is a really cool evolution method. Let's say Armaldo though. Actually, here I'm going to say a Shedinja. Here I'll say Armaldo. Really cool. Duskull. Really great shiny as well. I really like Duskull and Dusknoir. I don't have as much experience with Dusclops. Dragon, as I thought to myself, it's going to be Rayquaza, which starting to become an MVP in my Scarlet playthrough. It's not my Rayquaza, I got it from somebody else. It's rated I traded something for Rayquaza. It wasn't Ursaluna. I got Giratina by trading Ursaluna. Go Team Sky! You know the things you said about Gyarados not being on Team Sky and whatnot. And riding on Weird Ear. Dark type. Also went. He has this on Team Sky. I mean, Gen 9, it can work. Super Mystery Dungeon has led me not to like this Pokemon. This plant-based Smurf. Here's the little tricky. I like these four. I also like Medicina. First time using Medicina was on the Wii Pokemon Battle Revolution, which was basically the Wii's equivalent of Coliseum or Stadium or something. Eyes do look a little weird on this guy, but let's say Sharpedo. We need more shark Pokemon. Here's going to be Metagross. It's so cool. It's nice that it's a pseudo-legendary that doesn't have the dragon typing. Here it's Gardevoir. Not for the reasons that everybody else likes it, but it is a cool. I don't really know what this horn is that goes through the torso. Never really understood that. I wish Carlia had a more gender-dependent appearance. Gender-dependent appearance. Moving on. If I had a favorite, Mikey is really making me love Sceptile more and more. But I'm saying Blaziken. I honestly think they tie in my book. Gimmick form, I'm gonna say. One second. Okay, thank God. Here I'm going to say it's between Sharpedo, Camerupt. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Mr. Christmas Tree. I thought Roaring Moon looked similar to Mega Salamence. I guess I was wrong, unless they changed Salamence as Mega, like I feel like they did for Gyarados. Sorry. I could have sworn Mega Gyarados had like a mustache or something. Maybe I'm wrong. And then Mega Salamence. Maybe it just looks like that because it's sitting down. I really like Mega Glalie too. I feel like Glalie should have had the ghost typing, or at least like steel or something. I don't know. Not important. Between Sharpedo, Sceptile, Camera, Salamence, Glalie, and these three. This is really cool, I gotta say. This one is really underrated. Going with that volcano. How can you not like it? Favorite legend. I think it's pretty obvious. And favorite Gen 3 Pokemon overall. This is a little difficult. It's between Wailord, Glalie, Duskull, Rayquaza, and Sharpedo. Which one was the first one I discovered? Probably Sharpedo. Now it's between Wailord and Duskull. I gotta go Duskull. Also a really good Pokemon in Infinite Fusion. Gen 4, which had a lot of great Pokemon, especially new evolutions. Normal type. How long is this video? Is this 10 hours long yet? 42 minutes. I'm going to try to go faster. Normal type, it's between Arceus or Arceus. Lopunny. Not for the same reasons as everybody else. That's bestiality. And I'm not about that. Bidoof and I think it's those three. I feel like I gotta go with the legend. I don't think I need to explain why. Thank you, Dorkly. PM7 is right. This does look like a frog. Magmortar, think looks cool. The only thing I don't understand is the mouse, but I don't hate it. So long as it doesn't look like it's lipstick, like Jinx or Bruxish. I might do one of these grids for my least favorite Pokemon of every type and generation and category. Just ignore what this would say in that video. Never really used Chimchar in Platinum. I don't hate it. I just always preferred. I'll tell you in a second. I actually really like the oven form for Rotom. Rotom? Rotom? How the hell? You see, I think it is Rotom or Rotom. Rotom. Because it's motor backwards. Water type, I know it. In the past, Mikey didn't really like this Pokemon, though I think it's really cool. He's not as hard on it anymore. I've got to go with Floatzel, though. I really like Weasel Pokemon. I was going to say rodent, but I don't think weasels are rodents. Excuse me. Grass. This is undisputed in my brain, Sickle. Torterra. My favorite fully evolved starter of all time. tied only with Feraligatr. If you read its Pokédex, and you've seen it in new Pokemon Snap, with Pokemon on its back, it is such a kind Pokemon. For electric, by the way, if they do a Gen 5 Legends game, I think if it were up to me, I'd make the starters Turtwig, Totodile, and I don't know, Charmander or Fuecoco or I know Fuecoco's recent, but that's okay. Or maybe come on, dummy, they already did Cyndaquil. I don't know, Tepig or Fennekin? I don't hate Fennekin like everybody else does. Like, get your mind out of the gutter. Electric? Don't really understand why Shinx says Intimidate, but it makes more sense than Staravia having it. Or Masquerain. Speaking of Masquerain, who's Electric? Rotom is probably the hardest Pokemon to befriend in Poke Park because you got to get the bonus in air for every available Pokemon for his attraction. This is kind of difficult. It's Rotom though. If not normal form, it's this form. I don't know. Maybe this form because I really like the cold. Let's go with it. BM7 is the reason this is here. Or wait a second. Well, no, because that's in ground. Well, what about go? Mamoswine for ground. For ice, Frostlass. Frostlass is a really cool and it's a really overlooked Pokemon. It's so aesthetically good, and I think the whole concept of gender split evolutions is so cool. It's not the nicest Pokemon, but fighting, I think it's pretty obvious. It's so iconic, and it's a reason why one of the Pokemon that's the reason there should be an Egyptian region. No, Anubis. Poison, the greatest of options. I don't like this Pokemon as much because of Mystery Dungeon, but this Pokemon's annoying too. Game 7's love for these two. It's rubbing off on me. I'll say Skuntank anyways. For round. Honorable mentions. Gliscor. Rhyperior especially. That's really... Especially because of Legends Arceus. Here's an honorable mention. If I could pick duplicates, it would be Torterra, but Game 7's love for Mamoswine. And I've always loved Mamoswine. So, Flying, it's between these two, but I gotta say, Gliscor. No one considers it more of a bat. Some people do. It gives me Dracula vibes. And like I said, I really like folklore and stuff. I do believe vampires are real. You ever heard of a Highgate vampire? Look it up. Psychic. I think Cresselia should have been given the fairy type. No. I said Bronzong. It's another Pokemon that PokePark led me to believe it was a Gen 5 Pokemon. That's because of the reason that both Kecleon and Bronzong were not in the first PokePark. Bug type. I don't dislike this Pokemon like everybody else does. It has an awesome cry. Say Yon Mega though. Come on, it's a Dragonfly. Have you seen some of the fan-made G-Max forms turning it into a helicopter? Rhyperior is one of the most underrated Pokemon in my opinion. I don't understand why it gets so much hate. I love the design. I love that it incorporates its evolution item into its design. And the fact that it can shoot Geodude out of its palms? So cool. So cool. Ghost, I'm picking Dusk Noir. Another great new evolution. Some Pokedex entries made it seem really bad and creepy and sinister. Others have made it seem good, like transporting lost souls to the afterlife. And others swallows things and only eats bodies just to eat the soul and then spits out the body. Game Freak, why you gotta do them like that? Again, it's Dialga. Darkrai. These two are really cool. These two are two of my MVPs in both Legends, Arceus, and Scarlet, because I brought these two over. Darkrai is really cool. For Steel, there are a lot of good ones here. Bastiodon. I feel like it's a really underrated fossil Pokemon. I think it's based off of Dimetrodon or Dimetrodon or however you say it. I bought a plush of it, Sitting Cuties, and I accidentally spilled some chocolate milk on it. Not directly on it, but on the floor, and it splashed over onto it. That was it and Torterra were my most recent. The Sitting Cuties I bought, I will go over when I finish this list in like the next couple hours or so. By the way, this is unedited. I know my original attempt at recording this, for like the first 15 minutes or 30 minutes, or the first 10 minutes actually, my mic was muted. So, Togekiss here because I don't like Mr. Mime's line. Starter, really have to ask. Eggs here, I'll say Garchomp. While Shiny Mega Garchomp isn't great, it's at least better than Shiny Garchomp. Favorite Legend, this is tough. This is really tough. I still haven't done the Arceus Giratina battle. Like, I'm still in process of gathering all the plates. By the way, Scarlet is the first mainline Pokemon game I've ever beaten. And so, gosh, this is between Darkrai, Giratina, Origin, or Altered, Dialga. I really like Dialga. And you gotta throw Arceus into the consideration. It's the god. These two are really fucked up. Have you ever seen Pokemon moves were literal? Do check that out to see why. Poor Machamp. Um, in the anime, this one sounds weird. From the clip I saw, it's adorable. In Iowa, you can legally own a hedgehog. I found out. I feel like I gotta go. Hmm. If I could pick two here, it'd be Darkrai and Dialga. Favorite overall? Oh God, this might be the hardest one yet. This is the hardest one yet. Between Torterra, Rhyperior, Darkrai, and Bastiodon. And Dusknoir and Mamoswine. By the way, if you play Fusion, fuse these two together. Infinite Fusion needs better Rhyperior fusions, in my opinion. Got more history with Torterra. Two starters and two ghosts. Gen 5, my favorite generation. If I had to have a normal type, it's between any of the Sawsbuck forms. Somebody said, or no, the Dex entry in it's either Scarlet or Violet. I learned from him and JTV. This is the least popular one. Sawsbuck enthusiasts don't like it. How can you call yourself an enthusiast if you don't like all the forms? And it's a really cool concept to season forms. Deerling is adorable as well, so I tie that into this. A lot of people think that Bouffalon should have been a Tauros evolution, and I can see that. Well, I don't know about that because it's a buffalo. While actually, is it a buffalo? I assume because it, you know, bison. Yeah, Taurus is a bull, which is a male cow, and Beaufort is an American bison, which is not a cow. Braviary I have to pick because it's American. Us Americans, we are very proud of our country. If you've ever watched the video National Star Spangled Banner as you've never heard it, give it a listen, give it a watch. Because a lot of people sing the national anthem but don't really know what it stands for. Because, like, where the American flag was, the British wanted the Americans to take it down and led an assault on it, Fort Henry. And the whole reason was their goal was to take down the American flag. People died just trying to keep it up. The flag remained up for hours. Other countries wonder why we are so patriotic. That is why. fire, it's Chandelure, one of my favorite Pokemon. And I got a shiny and the teal mask through catching that shiny Litwick. PM7's love for this is really growing on me. I do look, just looks like a chill dude. Especially if you see him in Poke Park too. But I have to say Samurott. Besides, I think I can pick. I could if these two weren't options. Raikou, this other smaller YouTuber, says that Samurott looks goofy. Says he likes Slowpoke because he's goofy as a compliment, and says Samurott is goofy as a complaint or an insult. Explain, please. Grass. I'm gonna say between these two. PM7 has a history with this one, which is making me like it more. I like this one too. I know people think it's forgettable, but I think we could give it an evolution to make it less so. Maybe make it like either a grass fighting or that could be a good grass fire type. It would be really cool. Actually, what would that look like? 1 second.1 second. Kind of looks like Magearna. Underappreciated. I have to agree. And that looks cool. What is that, Magmortar and Maractus? Not bad. So yeah. Here I'm gonna say Winter Saucebuck. So simple in a good way. There's nothing wrong with being simple. Much rather be simple than complicated. MJTV is making me love this Pokemon more and more. I do agree with him that there should be a Pegasus Zebra evolution. Joltik is my favorite base form bug type of all the generations, only tied with these two. I was going to say Scyther, but Shuckle is iconic. Really, check Dorkly out. Really good content you got there. That's really cool. It's between Zebstrika, Galvantula, and Zekrom. I'm going to go Galvantula. I'm surprised we don't have more spider Pokemon with how popular they are. But I mean, shout out to Riku. Is that. I think his profile picture is of Rowlet. I really like Beartic. Sometimes I forget Cryogonal is real, which I really love as well. I think it is something we could give an evolution, like See if I spelled it right. What would that look like? This looks really, really cool. Ice Electric? That's not something you see too often. Ice Dark, that also looks very, very cool. This looks adorable. Wait, is it normally a ghost type? Doing this with one hand, so that's why I did that. It's ice. I don't know what an ice ghost type one would look like. I'm saying Beartic. So cool. The icicle beard. People pay too much attention to nether regions. Fighting. Don't know why Timber turned into a couple of construction clowns. I really like Timber. Why didn't they just leave him as a beaver or woodchuck? These Pokemon, I don't have any. Oh, when I played Pokepark 2 the first time through, I didn't know these Pokemon existed. Or these two, or this one, or these. Fighting time. So I guess I'll go Timber. Which I got a shiny of in Pokemon Go from the community day. Also got a shiny Charmander. Shiny Woobat, just randomly, I think. And really want them to do a community day for Dino or Axew again. Or Sandile or Magikarp or something. Poison type. Not a whole lot of options here. But I do actually think Whirlipede is the first Gen 5 Pokemon I ever learned about. And it was actually an anime. Um, Whirlipede, it was kind of like Garbodor. Garbodor is how it should be pronounced. Garbage odor. Oh, let me think. I'm gonna go with Whirlipede. This is where it gets really, really tough. Like Excadrill is so cool. Seismitoad is so cool. This is probably one of my favorite middle evolutions of all time. Tied with Haunter. I consider Sandile a baby Pokemon and one of the cutest Pokemon of all time. I've had a lot of attachment to Crocodile. I can't say Crocodile's name in the cool way. I can't roll R's. And Golurk. Golurk can actually turn into a cannon, if you did not know. Only those of us that play Pokepark 2 will know that. I've got to go with Crocodile. It's just so cool. So glad Ash had one. We need more crocodilian Pokemon at the very least. Nah, we need a grass crocodilian Pokemon starter. Starter Pokemon. Flying. Not a whole lot of choices here. Oh, I'm dumb. Sigilif is so cool. I don't know why it's not more popular. It could use a pre-evolution, just for the sake of design. Could also use an evolution itself. Psychic, not a whole lot. Maybe Victini? Kind of like Meloetta. It has a really nice cry as well. Uniqueless. I breeded a couple of these, named them Abomination, and Wonder traded them in Scarlet. I mean, they're not as bad as Bruxish, or the Jinx line. Fluffy agrees. I'm going to go with Meloetta. For the bug types, Gen 5 had some decent bugs. I don't really believe the Dex entry that says Crustle has claws that can crush Rhyperior's Carapace, however you say that. Just look at the width of his claws compared to Rhyperior's body. I mean, maybe the tail right before it gets to being that boulder, but I mean, you can't really trust Pokédex's entries all the time. This Pidgeot can go Mach speed. This Cavalier is really cool. This Celigor is really cool, a really fast Pokemon. But really hard to catch in Pokepark too, when we have to play Chase. Now there's Kabutops that should have been evolution. Between these two, I think I have to go with this Cavalier. Gigalith is the rock one. I don't think I should have to explain why. It should have been a second pseudo in Gen 5, maybe third. Because, I mean, it's like Metagross if Metagross was made of rocks. I feel like Gigalith could have also been a rock ghost type. Here's my favorite. We don't have to worry about Chandelure because we already picked it. Here's a very, very wrongfully hated and underrated Pokemon. I heard what Mikey said about Runerigus being way better than Cofagrigus because he doesn't like Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus protects the graves of the dead from robbers. And it kind of saved Ash in the anime from Sigilif. Just sad that it wasn't in Scarlet or Violet. Same with Sigilif. By the way, which legendary are you wanting to get first in the Indigo Disc? This one's really hard between these two. But I already picked Crocodile here. So I'm going to pick Haxorus here. Haxorus should have been a pseudo. He was partners with my next pick in Pokepark 2. You guys are probably tired of hearing me mention that. But it's a really good series. They need to bring it back. Toru is adorable. Here's one of my Scarlet MVPs. Hydreigon. Hydreigon. I say Hydreigon. Sometimes I say Hydreigon. Or Hydrate. Sometimes I say Hydreigon. That's how I prefer to say it. Sometimes I say Hydreigon. Other times I say Hydreigon. So cool. So underrated. My favorite pseudo legendary. Steel type? This line gets overlooked often. You know, I could change this to a Celgor and put for steel a Scavalier. Because it is so cool. Those lances. Not many options here. Starter at Samurott. I don't know how the Hisuian form isn't more popular. Excuse me. I don't have experience with these. I'll just go with. I think Mega Garbodor should have been like a. That's not Mega, that's a Gigantamax. Gigantamax. By the way, Cofagrigus should have had a Gigantamax form. Let me show you why. This looks really cool. Not the one I saw, but this is also fan-made Mega Cofagrigus. Don't know how I exactly feel about it, but Cofagrigus just is so overlooked. I prefer it over this. Why couldn't we have just gotten a Galarian Cofagrigus as well? It was mentioned in an article last night that brought a tear to my eye. 10 most wrongfully hated Pokemon. It was one of them. Garbodor's Gmax should have been like a garbage barge. If you don't know what that is, basically, I guess you could call it a boat where a lot of trash ends up. My favorite legend has got to be Zekrom. Moo moo, I'm a Zekrom. Caw caw, I'm a Reshiram. Honorable mentions are, I feel like shiny Zekrom should be white and shiny Reshiram should be black. I don't have much experience with these three. Everywhere John goes, he sees Virizion. Thundurus is really cool too. I got a card in one of those tins of Pokemon cards I bought a couple months ago. Which I got a terrestrialized electric sparkly Tyranitar card. I looked it up and it's pretty rare actually. Favorite overall, this is hard because I really like these three, or these four, I should say. These five. If I could pick five here, I would. But I've got a history with Cofagrigus. But just know it's tying with Crocodile Haxorus and Hydreigon and Chandelure. Cofagrigus and Chandelure were attraction bosses in Pokepark 2. Gen 6, the first one I'm not too familiar with. Because they didn't make a Pokepark game. And there's been a fan-made Pokepark game that it doesn't release or anything. It's both Cofagrigus and Haunter. When I said Haunter was tied at number 1 for my favorite Pokemon, Cofagrigus was the other one I was referring to. But now, these two, this guy, 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 etc. And this cutie, and this guy, and this guy, this guy, so on and so forth. You get the picture. Are all tied at number 1 for my top favorite. None of these normal types are really speaking to me. I'm gonna go with Bunnelby. It's a cute little digger. Fire. Duelake X. Houndoom. Camera. Or Groudon. I like Fennekin. It's really adorable. Same reasons I like Vulpix. I'm really looking for a Clauncher in Pokemon Scarlet. I tried playing through Union Circle on my main Nintendo Switch, which is the standard one, and my Nintendo Switch Lite. Scarlet, Violet. Can't find a Clauncher anywhere. I really like Greninja. I think this is kind of growing on me, to be honest. This guy's name can be hard to spell when you're playing Who's That Pokemon. Sorry about that. I think I gotta say Sharpedo. Make Sharpedo. But I think it is tied with. But if we're talking non-gimmick, it's Greninja. Or Clawitzer. I think that's its name. Grass, not. Well, I was going to say that then I saw Trevenant. One of the coolest Pokemon. One of the greatest shinies. You guys say more? Electric, one second. Helioptile, Heliolisk, Dedenne, all that. Don't really have much experience with it, but based off design, I'm going to go with Heliolisk. For ice, I got this in Pokemon Go. We're hatching so many of these. I did mistake Avalugg and Bergmite for Gen 5 Pokemon back in the day. Gotta go with Mr. Table here. But I mean, it's upside down glacier with legs. Fighting type? I'll put Chestnut. It looks really cool. It has a decent shiny too. It's a very overlooked Gen 6 starter. Here I'm going to put Dragalge. I've only just gotten my first ever Dragalge the other day by breeding it with somebody else's drink algae that I got. What was it with the scrub that somebody else gave? I don't remember. Hatched the scrub. Wait, I didn't evolve those scrub. They're still sitting in the hatched box. I really think this is really cool. Poisonous dragon type seahorse. Cool. Ground, not a lot of options here. They are good options though. Um, I said no duplicates, but I was just talking in by generation. Really like maybe a camera. Oh, we got all the butterflies. This is the butterfly festival. Oh, so this is where all the butterflies migrate. That was a horrible joke. I'm sorry. Here I'm saying Noivern, followed by Yveltal, Psychic. I remember getting Pokemon cards with one of these two on it. I think this one. Koopa's okay. Makes me miss the days when Roblox had Pokemon games on it and Pokemon Brick Bronze, the greatest of all of them. I'm gonna say, hmm, what is that? I didn't see that on there last time I did this. Saying Delphox, I know it's controversial, but it's not for the reasons you probably think. I do think it's a really cool design. It gives me, like, especially in Scarlet, it gives me severe autumn feels. I think autumn is a very underrated season. Bug, um, between these two Vivillons. Vivillon, not Vivillon, like I thought. This one's supposed to be America, I think. I don't hate any of those patterns, but the Pokeball one is nice. Is this supposed to be? I don't know why, but that makes me think of Dustox. Dustox is Gen 3, right? Yeah. I don't know if that's supposed to look like Dustox, but it does. I love my country, so I've got to go with the American pattern. This one is hands down Tyrantrum. What? Also, one of the along with Trevenant, those two have the best Gen 6 shinies. Here's another Pokemon I thought was a Gen 5 Pokemon for some reason. Aegislash will go with the Shield form. I like both of these equally, though. Um. Oh, I thought I accidentally clicked Dark for a second. Dragon. I'm gonna go with Mega Sceptile. Especially around this time of year, it looks great. Put some lights around its tail. Boom, you got a Christmas tree on the go. Dark type? I kind of forgot Greninja was a dark type. I gotta go with Yveltal. Pokemon Talk reference if you didn't know. Pokemon Talk, MJ TV. Check it out. I know a lot of people don't like Klefki, but I like it for the same reasons I like Chandelure and the Tumbleweeds, Sigilif. It's Sigilif, not Sigilif. It's a combination of sigil and glyph. But look those two things up to know what those mean. I'm not great. I would not make a good dictionary. It's a nice, simple design, and I really like it. Fairy. I do kind of wonder why it's a fairy type. Excuse me. Sylveon is really great. Um, there's all those flowers that should be grass type, along with, that should be grass fairy type. And you got Mega Gardevoir, Mega Mawile down there. And I'm gonna go with Sylveon. I like Xerneas as well. Yeah, I got a Pokemon card back in the day with them on it. Favorite starter, Fennekin. Just so adorable. Gimmick, probably the most we'll see. Who knows? We've got a lot of really good ones here. Um, oh boy, yeah, that. Did Gyarados get in? Did Gyarados? Did they like change his Mega? I could have sworn it was different back in the day. Maybe I'm tripping, as the kids say. Not one of those kids. Um, Not a big fan of Medicham as a Pokemon on its own. It's Christmas time. We'll go Sceptile. Favorite legend? Can somebody please tell me what this is? Zygarde hasn't been completed at that point yet. I got one of these in Pokemon Go. I was excited about it until I found out it was kind of guaranteed. Rayquaza. I didn't go for it up here. Favorite overall is a little difficult. But it's between Tyrantrum and Trevenant. Who do I go for? If I could pick two, I would pick those two. Going with Tyrantrum, it's about time they had a T Rex Pokemon. They should have had a T Rex Pokemon in Gen 1. Um, then we have Gen 7, which I'm even less familiar with. Normal, I think I'll go with Mr. Toucan Sam right here. Honorable mention, though, being Grandpa. I like Lolan Rattata's little mustache. I got in Titanol and Missing No confused at one point. Fire type, Litten. I'm a cat person. I've always loved cats. Earlier this year, we had to say goodbye to. We had 14 cats. Yes, 14. Call me crazy. My sister's idea, but we had to take 10 of them down to Des Moines and surrender them because this apartment, our landlord only knows of two cats that we have, along with a dog. We have four cats actually, and And just last night, I had a dream about a couple cats we had to surrender. I missed them dearly. I had to say goodbye to them in July or September, something like that. It was July or August, potentially. I don't remember. That's not important. Water type, I can tell you what it's not. Favorite, this one is really growing on me. Same as this one. This is not ugly. I don't care what Riku says. I actually kind of like Golisopod. It looks terrifying. I don't care if a Pokemon looks humanoid or not. That's not one of the things I focus on. I can understand the frustration, but I'm not gonna bitch about it. Okay. Requin is kind of speaking to me here. Grass, it's. Hmm, that's a nice Mudsteel sprite. I do like the Decidueye. John and Mikey are really rubbing that off on me. Um, I don't know if anybody that really likes this. I like this more than Mr. Mime, that's for sure. This Pokemon's Serena, which is how it's pronounced. It's not Sarina. It's not Sarina. Zar is spelled Czar. Maybe I'll have Rowlet represent for Decidueye. Here I'm putting Dilmise, which I don't have any experience with, but I like its design for the same reasons as Chandelure, Sigilyph, Cofagrigus, um, Klefki, Aegislash, and so on and so forth. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm a little farther away from my laptop as I was earlier. A lot of Pikachus, man. I don't hate it, but Vikavolt, it is Vikavolt. I previously called it Vikavolt. Wait, how do you pronounce that Pokemon's name? Vikavolt, probably. I like Chargebug too. Just don't murder a bunch and turn it into a stone journer. Um, ChatGPT apparently thinks this should be a Pokemon for the first gym leader in a Indian-inspired region. Watch Mikey's MNJTV's video called "I Had AI Make a Pokemon Region." Not a whole lot speaking to me here, but I'm gonna go for Vikavolt so we can be done with it. Plus, it's very cool. This is a weird Pokemon. Why does a crab have nubs with Sasquatch footprints on it? You already know. Honorable mention though is Sandslash looks really cool there. I don't know how I feel about Ultra Beasts. Now, I've not used a Pissimian personally. It's starting to really grow on me. I do prefer it over Mr. Oranguru there, if I had to pick one of them. Not bashing Mr. Orangutan, just saying if I had to pick one. Poison, we've got. I think Salandit needs the Frostlass treatment. Let's have a male evolution for Salandit. I can't be the only one that wants that. I'm gonna go for Salandit there. Really cool concept, the first poison fire type we ever got. For ground, um, here I'll put Mudsdale. That ties in with Mudspray. Really cool donkey horse or some really cool mule is what it is. This is now the heaviest Pokemon apparently. Minior is one of the greatest shinies of all time, as far as multicolored Pokemon go. We're putting Rowlet here to represent Decidueye. I know Decidueye isn't a flying type, but I mean I really like Mr. Anchor. That's what Mr. Krabs would have as a Pokemon. Or maybe he'd have Meowth with an amulet coin on it while knowing the payday move. Psychic. Solgaleo. Really cool. Pokemon that I thought was a fire type. For Bug, this one's weird. But I mean, it's an Ultra Beast, so they're supposed to be weird. Only recently learned this one's name. Only knew this one's name from Unite, which I don't play very often, but Golisopod is going there. I don't feel think Kabuto was a trilobite. It was not. It was based off a horseshoe crab. Wimpod. That's the trilobite. This is Rock. As far as Ultra Beasts go, this is the favorite of mine, if I had to have one. Rock. Okay, so Ultra Beasts don't count there. That's good. It's between Stakataka and Blue Minior. Is it blue? Or as a kid, my favorite color was green. Still is one of my favorite colors. Blue is also a favorite color of mine. Reminds me of water. I know water's clear, not blue, but also reminds me of the sky. And just overall, I did say I like the cold, and blue represents that. I'm gonna go with Blue Minior. I think I originally had Stack Attack in there, but for Ghost, Palisand. I want to put Decidueye, but I wanted to put Mudsdale for ground. That's why I put Rowlet here. And you know what? Oh, how would that work? That wouldn't work. Oh. I know everybody loves Mimikyu. I love it, but it already gets so much attention, which was its goal. Wanted to be as popular as Pikachu, and in a way became more popular than Pikachu. Far exceeded its goal. Kind of like Grandpa. Not a whole lot of these are speaking to me, but Grandpa is. Sticks up for its friends when they're being bullied, especially. I thought Incineroar was a firefighting type, but which is who I think I'm gonna pick. This one's weird, especially in the anime. Just screaming while getting beat up by Beware. Beware. What is this, steel type? Oh, I can put Sand Slash for steel. These two are weird. Give Homer Simpson his hair back. Give the Golden Girls. I'm Gen Z, so you might not expect me to make references like that. But Mr. Sand Slash. Barry. Again, the type I have the least amount of experience with. Oh, I can put Mimikyu here. We'll go with the standard form. Starter is Litten. Like I said, I'm a cat person. Gimmick. Wait a second. I really, really like Marowak, Salolan form. It's a tie between Marowak, Vulpix, Ninetales, and Sandslash. I wonder why in Gen 7 they strict, strictly gave regional forms to Gen 1 Pokemon, but I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, it was where the region where we were introduced to regional forms and variants. So I guess it makes sense to make Gen 1s the first ones. Legend. Um, I have zero experience with any of these, except for in Pokemon Go, for which I have one of these. I found out that this is a bat. It looks more like a some biblical thing. I don't believe in that whole biblically accurate angels look like beings that have a lot of eyeballs. I don't believe that. I believe they're just people with wings and halos. Maybe not halos all the time. I'm rambling. Um, the Gross was really cool. I really like this as well. I didn't get to play the Gen 7 games because, well, I did have a 3DS in 2019, which was after this happened. Um, but I played Super Mystery Dungeon, Gates to Infinity, Alpha Sapphire, Animal Crossing New Leaf, etc. Pokemon Rumble, something. On 3DS, I eventually ruined it with a counterfeit game I didn't know was counterfeit. So it was, I believe it was Platinum. Um, yeah, it got on eBay, which taught me a lesson. I'm gonna say, what does go Sogaleo, Sogaleo, however you say it. Favorite overall is between Vulpix, Litten, Delmise. It's not Delmise, to me at least. Just like it's not Illumise, it's Illumise to me. Like compromise. You don't say compromise. Oh yeah, I gotta go with it. Really, really cool. I know I haven't really been explaining why. Gen 8, one of the, as far as starters go, probably my least favorite generation as far as starters go. I don't hate them, just think they could have been better. Gen 8, normal type. I really like that they gave some love to the Zigzagoon line. I really like Obstagoon over here. The shiny. If it's shiny, it's Mr. Toothpaste Monster. Do they really have to give Meowth more? I'm gonna give it to Weird Ear. It's about time they gave him something. Fire. I feel like Centiskorch should be the size of like at least the size of Gyarados or something. This is difficult though. Is Roly Poly not a fire type? Not. Guess not. Also, I forgot to mention Salandit the other day in Scarlet. Actually, it was the night that Indigo Disc dropped early. I thought I saw a shiny Salandit. Actually, I need to remind myself what shiny Salandit looks like. In the lighting, it was in the Alvernatic Cavern. It looked shiny, but it was just the sunlight hitting it. It's between Arcanine and, again, sometimes I say Arcanine, sometimes I say Arcanine. Gmax Centiskorch, though, because over here we can probably put Arcanine. Oh, wait a second. Never mind. Wait. Okay. I'm dilly dallying. Brain fart. Water. Um, I don't really like Cramorant for this reason, especially if it's Gmax, fan made Gmax, where it's a Wailord in its mouth. Um, things Samurott underrated. I did pick Rowlet for Legends Arceus just because I hadn't, like I said, I didn't play the Gen 7 games, so I didn't get to pick it. Grass. For grass, what is this? Can somebody please explain to me what that is? That's not a Hydrapple, is it? I mean, you shouldn't really put that for Gen 8 because it wasn't revealed until Gen 9. Grass type. Yeah, Decidueye I only picked because I'd never gotten to use a Rowlet before. But I did end up with all three starters, anyways. Because of. Was it because of Scarlet or was it because of the actual in game? I don't remember. Also, the way they do away with trade evolution in Legends Arceus, bring that back. Make that the way it should be. give us either the option of evolving it through using an item or by trade if we want to. Because with trade evolution, you don't get to see your creature evolve, your Pokemon evolve. I'm putting Voltorb for light or grass. So I like Voltorb over Electro because Voltorb looks so happy. Electro just seems like an asshole. Here I'm going to put Dracozolt, Draco Arctozolt. I could have done better on the names. I didn't say nothing. Because, I mean, look at this cheery little fellow. He's going to ask you for a tissue. Him and Cubchode could be friends. I tie Cubchode in with Bear. Ice. Kind of surprised though that fossils don't have the dragon typing. Because I mean, Dracozolt, Dracovish. What their names are? I don't remember. Ice. Now I actually don't mind Mr. Rhyme. It's different enough from both of the Mr. Mimes, but I do not like Mr. Mime. But I'm not going to pick Mr. Rhyme here. I think Mr. Mime should have been called Mr. Crime. I really like this concept, especially over here. Rice. This one's very popular. I'm going to put this guy. I mean, I have to. It's Protocol. The first fire ice type we ever got. Surprised it took him so long, honestly. Fighting type, we got a couple better options here than we've gotten in the past. Because we've got Grapploct. I really like this Farfetch. Phalanx, which I think is really cool. There was something about Phalanx that I was thinking of. It was that I had heard. It really does look like a Kirby character. I like Zamazenta. I bought Shield. Um, Either earlier this year or the end of last year with my truck wash money when I worked with my brother. I had a truck wash. Urshifu is very interesting. It's nice that we now. Actually, let me fact check that before people climb up my leg to torch me. Okay. It's nice that we do now have legendary Pokemon that do and can evolve. It's a really cool concept. John PM7 does not like this one, but I do. Maybe I'll put that for gimmick, but I want to put Samurott. This is a very difficult thing. Also, why did Gen 5 needs more gimmick forms? Huh? I'm an idiot. I mistook Sneasler for a ice type, which I'll probably end up picking Sneasler for poison. So here I'm going to pick Phalanx. Because, I mean, it's such a creative idea. What is that? Is that G-Max? I was an idiot that thought Slowbro evolved into Slowking. But I mean, I'm an idiot, so it doesn't surprise me. Sneasler, it's a really underrated, wrongfully hated Pokemon, in my opinion. Here, I'm not putting this. I like it, but I don't like it as much as I like Cofagrigus. It is cool, but I like Cofagrigus more. I did recently have a dream about Cofagrigus. I was looking over the wall of a bathroom stall, the big bathroom stall. He was on the toilet for some reason. When I looked, he would look creepily at me, but still, I love it. Then I was in a classroom. This was a different dream. More recently, there were two Cofagriuses. I was laying on the floor. I was stuck in between two desks, and the Pokemon sitting in both desks were Cofagriuses. I'm picking this one. I'm from the Midwest. We're very infamous for our tornadoes. I just really think that's really cool. It's what tornadoes could have been. Excuse me. For flying, I kind of like Corvisquire. It's nice that we finally got a regional bird that is pure flying type. I like the Galarian birds, kind of. If I had to pick one of them, between these two. This Braviary isn't as good as Old Glory. I think I'm actually going to pick Butterfree. I remember watching Bye Bye Butterfree. Women think men don't cry, but put that in front of us and we'll be bawling within seconds. Psychic? Phoenix Orbeetle is really cool. My grandma, who recently passed back on October 18th, which was the reason I, for that whole situation, is what led to me going out of state for the first time to Moline, Illinois. She passed like the second or third time I went down there with my half brother, just like 10 years older than me, almost, and sister in law to go see my grandparents. Now, she passed right in front of all of us, pretty much. And she really loved ladybugs to the point where someday when I get a tattoo, I'm going to incorporate that into a tattoo for her. Now she's up there with my late dad, who passed away when I was a freshman in high school 8 years ago, as of November 10th. Lung cancer, age 50. Bug, Cleavor, Rock, Stonejourner, no. I'm going to say Cleavor as a joke. Arcanine, whatever. Ghost, um, Basket Legion. Really deserved it. dragon. Um, I kind of like G-Max Duraludon. I do like the Dreepy line too, though. Dark. Um, I like that there's finally a fairy type that is ugly. Evil, evil, however you say it. But I also like Nickit and Zigzagoon and whatnot. Here's where I explain why I think Gen 10 should be India based. Paparaja. And we'll talk about Raichu in this case. Raichu, the evolution of Pikachu. Dex entry says, used to say that it could incapacitate an Indian elephant, and now that Paparaja exists, it's been changed to Paparaja. So, and in Scarlet Violet, it says that Paparaja is not from Paldea, and maybe not Galar either. I don't know, I haven't seen the Galar entries. In Laventon, there was something about Laventon that said he wasn't from Yasui. Uh, so I think that Paparaja is originally from an Indian inspired region. And I think if we get that in Gen 10, that could tell us whether we're right or not. It's not my favorite here, but it's one of them. I'm going to say Berserker here. I think it's really good. Probably the best thing Meowth has gotten. Fairy, not the greatest of options, but between Hatterene and Galarian Weezing. Okay, Hatterene, or not put Weezing. I think it's just so cool. Hilarious. How come sometimes they would give both Pokemon or all Pokemon in an evolutionary line regional forms, and in other generations they only give the evolved form or regional form or evolution or something? Because Coughing didn't get anything here yet in Gen 7. Both Sandshrew and Sandslash get a form. Same with Grimer and Muck. Um, Fair starter might be my first triple. Samurott. I really love otters and sea lions. Well, I think that's what's. I think he's a sea lion, but he started as an otter, and I love otters. How can you not? They're adorable. They're living squeaky toys. They are living, breathing dog toys, as in the sound they make. Favorite gimmick? Yeah, Samurott really deserved it. It is doesn't get the respect it deserves. Legend, however, Legendary. Why are there two Zamazentas? Why are there three Zamazentas? Never mind. I'm an idiot. At first I thought this was... I don't know what I'm saying. Sorry. I don't know what the difference between those are. It is cool. Favorite overall. Favorite overall. Oh, God. These are pretty decent, too. Do I do Samurott again? Or is it G-Max, Scourge, or Sandaconda? I think it has to be Samurott. Speaks to me too much. Threatens my family if I don't pick it. I'm kidding. Gen 9. Now we're here. We're almost done, people. I say people like there's anybody watching at this point. No, nobody's watching at this point. I know that. Okay, normal type. This Pokemon is only popular pretty much because of its name. That's not to say it's not a good Pokemon. It is a decent Pokemon. I understand the hype. I was part of that club. I think these two should have been way better. I really like this concept. Smoliv is a fantastic shiny. Looking for Dolliv helped me catch that, or even find that shiny Meditite. I feel like the Squawkabillies could be better. I compare them to. They're basically if Elvis was a Pokemon. We're not talking about this. They're a giraffe. This really needed a evolution, and this one is good. Its Pokédex is lying when it says its psychic powers are 10 times stronger than Giraffari's, which is a lie because that would make it the most powerful of all. Fire type, unanimous. Skeletor is one of the coolest Pokemon. One of the best starters we've gotten in a long, long time. I want to make that as clear as possible. Water. But yeah, seriously, we need more crocodilian Pokemon. We only have 3 that I know of. You correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not the biggest fan of Quaxly's line. It's not horrible, but I couldn't pick it over. I mean, the first start I did pick was Sprigatito, but I immediately restarted my game because I wanted it to be special. I don't hate Sprigatito's line at all. I actually like I said, I'm a cat guy. It's nice that we finally got a dolphin Pokemon. What's the difference between those? It's hard to see in the picture. Um, oh, you got paradoxes. Seriously, the Dunsparce needed to have something better than that crap. Oh, and we have paradox Pokemon down here. Iron Moth, is that what that was called? I don't remember. Those paradox Pokemon names are not the greatest. MJTV does it better. He calls Iron Bundle Calibird. He calls Brute Bonnet their Wusa Fungus Amugus. Um, calls Verizion or Iron Leaves Verizon as a joke. He had I forget what he named it though, legitimately. Not as cool as Hydreigon, but um, I would call this. I would call Sandy Shock's Magnet Tomb like a burial thing. Water, I'm gonna say Lug Trio. PM7 really convinced me that it's a walking W, as he says. I didn't dislike it at all. Great Pokemon, great design, great shiny. Grass, I really like the tumbleweeds for the same reason as Chandelure. I want to really drive that point home. As far as the Paradox Pokemon go, I want to mention that I really think the cries of the past Paradox Pokemon are so cool, so ominous in a good way. Sounds like some sort of dinosaur creature. While the future Paradox cries don't sound bad at all, if I had to pick one. By the way, as far maybe I'll wait till the end to mention that. I think this is a really cool concept for a legendary, or just a Pokemon in general. But I'm going to go with Brambleghast. Bramblin and Brambleghast are equal. They need a better shiny though. Come on, Game Freak. Quit doing Pokemon shinies like Garchomp. Stop it. Maybe I'll do tier lists eventually. Tier list videos probably won't be as long as this. I'm so sorry for this being so long. I would call Raging Bolt Raihu because its head is up so high. People from down here won't be able to see its face, so they won't be able to know who it is. Rhydon's all right. Yes, Miraidon, not Miraidon. There's a Skyrim mod follower called Mirai. That's how that's pronounced. Um, this line could have been better. I mean, it's good that we have evolving Pika clones again, but Stariyama, which is also what Mikey calls this, Tyraniton, like automaton. These hands look like make me think of stars. I know stars aren't actually yellow, but um, John's love for Belly Bolt and Mikey's love for Kilowatt Drill is rubbing off on me. I'm gonna put Belly Bolt. I mean, it's a little frog dude. Why not? I know a lot of people complain about it looking similar to Chansey, as in the shape, but if so, it's an improvement of Chansey. Also, I want to touch upon that there are some fake mon that look very similar to Pokemon like the Dolphin line and whatnot. And Pokemon maybe has taken some inspiration from that concept. Ice type, I like that we got a land Wailord. I like that we have a panther over here or a leopard. Well, with Caliber, I know people don't exactly like it or love it. Me and PM7 do though. It's got a cool cry too. Though I wish Pokemon games had an option where you could choose between hearing game cries or cries where Pokemon say their name. That would be a nice, especially for the kids. Quavel, meh, seems inspired by a character from one of the older spin-off games. Was it Stadium or was it Coliseum? I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't play those games. With gaming, I started with VTech Pocket V Smile or whatever it's called. Actual console was PS2, then it was the Wii and DS, and then it was PS3 and the Xbox One, which I have right here. Then it was the 3DS, and now the Switch. Fighting. Volca wanna fight? I don't know. That needs some work. There was a cooler name for this that somebody came up with. It's not like a play on words or anything. I don't think. Um, that Horus line, fantastic, and I like very cool. People rip on Flamigo for looking just like a flamingo. Why complicate everything all the time? But I'm picking Koraidon. I don't think I'm alone in saying that I'm attached to Koraidon. Koraidon and Miraidon are probably the best legendaries. What other legendary almost sacrifices their lives for you? More than once, by the way. It was brave for us. And that's all I'm going to say because I'm not going to spoil anything. Poison. Don't really know why this is a poison type. It should be. I'm not sure what it is. It's a fire poison type. When I think it should be either fire steel or yeah, fire steel would make more sense in my opinion. I like limit. It's a cool concept. It makes you think of those evaporation birds. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. The drinking bird. And this is how they work. See, that's a little choppy. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to. Here's a better. Yeah, that's how they work. And their whole concept is evaporation. That's what Glimmet makes me think of. I know it's not a bird, but it's a really cool concept. Iron shreds. It's okay, but it doesn't look like an elephant due to the lack of an elephant-like face. How does it even see where it's going? It can't look ahead. It just pretty much just has peripheral vision. Clodsire and them, they're good. Maybe better than Quagsire in a way as far as the typing goes, along with the ability, the main ability. Tinglu is kind of growing on me. I have to admit, really, really growing on me. Which I think is who I'm going to put for I don't have one. The only legendary, non-Koraidon legendary I got, Gen 9, is Wo-Chien the snail. Here's Ting Lu for that. For flying, there's not a whole lot of. This is not as good as Hydreigon, but I think I'm gonna. Hydroidon, that's what Mikey called it. And then Sword. I don't know why it has to be a flying type now, though. When it could just be Dragon Steel or Dark Steel. Psychic, um, not Lady Gaga. Also, how this thing turns into an ostrich, I don't understand. This is really cool. Armor Rouge is cool. Rapska is cool. I think I'm gonna go with Armor Rouge though. Bug. This has a fantastic shiny, holding a golden ball of mud. Or maybe it's just gold, I don't know. So this, which, where is the Pokemon in this? Is it the Dung Beetle, or is it this ball? I like Tarantula as a bet. One of the best shinies that a spider Pokemon could have. Spidops should have kept it that way. This Tarantula looks like it has the colors of Spider-Man. We know how popular that is. You know, now I'm realizing, what type is Ogerpone normally? What type is Ogerpone? 1 second, apologies. Then I'm going to change that to Ogerpone. Now becoming attached to it. And there's where I can put Pralgus. Hit Rock type. I don't really like this Pokemon because of its Dex entry. And it does look like a Minecraft pig. But that's not what I dislike about it. But it redeems itself when it evolves into Gargantical. I'm probably saying that wrong. It heals by sprinkling salt into wounds. Normally, that would not be a very good thing to do. Because of the saying, sprinkle salt into my wounds. Not as cool as Chandelure, but not bad. But I already determined this is where I would put. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. Dragon. Um, Well, I already put both. That's dragon. A long neck saber tooth. I'm gonna put Archaludon. I think it's a really cool concept. Very, very cool. Um, what is this? Dark? Excuse me. I'm kind of going attached to Mabostiff. I haven't used one myself, but you've done a story. Wink, wink. Also, think it's very interesting how we have a goldfish legendary. The part of me thought it was supposed to going to be a dragon type, dragon fire or something. I don't know. By the way, hmm. um, least favorite Pokemons, favorite Pokemon of Gen 9? These three. And I think Mikey, you'll probably agree with that. I'm not going to watch this, but if he did, well, he's probably. Orthworm has Sizzlipede, or Orthworm has Centiskorch syndrome. Should have been at least like around as big as Gyarados or Onyx. Really, it should have been the size its Titan is, but it is still a really cool Pokemon. So I think I'm gonna put it for my favorite Steel type. Fairy, as was decided a long time ago, thanks to PM7, and the fact that I like I call them Dash Hounds, not Dachshunds, but Dachshund. Maybe I can get one and name it Dashbun. I don't remember why people call them Dash Hounds, but their starter, that's easy. I don't even need to explain that. So, if you're wondering why there's a bird there, in real life, there are birds called Egyptian plovers, and they're known for cleaning crocodiles' mouths. They have kind of a symbiotic relationship, which means they benefit each other. The crocodile doesn't eat the bird gets to eats the things in between the crocodile's teeth, which also cleans the crocodile's mouth. This is what they look like. This is what they do. This is what they do. Crocodile keeps its mouth open, so it's basically the dentist of the animal world, not including humans. Humans are animals. So cool. Gimmick? Um, Probably Tauros. I really like the fire one as well. Let's go with the base and tie in those other two with it. Legendary, it's not a question. Not even a second thought. Favorite overall? It's between these two. But I received Fuecoco before I received Koridon. The moment, this is the moment nobody's been waiting for. My favorites overall of all the types across all generations that I have picked. Favorite normal type, it's between Tauros, Dunsparce, Bidoof, and Braviary. Dunsparce. You deserve better, buddy. Not saying you needed to turn into a dragon, but you deserve something better than These piss poor excuses. Favorite fire type overall, oh god. Oh, Long Johnson. Oh no. It's between Vulpix, Chandelure, and Skeledirge. I'm putting Chandelure, but I'm also tying Vulpix and Skeledirge in there. Favorite water type? Feraligatr. So there are some honorable. Oh, I like all of those. First, second, third, fourth. This one, I have to say Torterra. Too much history there. Torterra and Feraligatr to me are like Sceptile is to MJTV. Favorite electric type? Between Electabuzz, Raikou, and Galvantula. But I really like this guy too. Raikou. It was the first legendary I ever encountered. Of course, it roared me away, but favorite ice type? Well, I can put that's the wrong one. Sorry to get your hopes up. It's between Vulpix, Glalie, and Frostlass. I gotta pick Vulpix. It's so adorable. Fighting. I have less experience with the fighting types. The types I have the most experience with I'll discuss down here. Fighting though, I really like Phalanx. Actually, I think I'll put Corride on there. Dragon Fighting. It's not a type combo we see too often. I know it's not the first, but hopefully it's not the last. Poison. Gotta go with Old Faithful Arbok. Really needs a Wild Western regional form or maybe like an evolution. Favorite ground type? Crocodile. Favorite, again, too much history there. Favorite flying type? It's Gyarados, Sigilyph, Gliscor, whoops. Putting Sigilyph, but Gyarados, Salamence, and Gliscor are tied in there as well. Favorite psychic type? I haven't always had that much experience with the psychic types. It's between these two. I go with the pretty much the Jesus of Pokemon. Arceus is the god of Pokemon. Mew is the Jesus of Pokemon. Kind of, I don't know. Not in every way, but favorite bug type. I know I said Joltik was my favorite base form bug type, but I also threw these in there too. I'm picking Shuckle, but Scyther's in there too for number one. And Celigor is one of the fastest Pokemon I can think of. Um, Rock became one of my Arceus MVPs. Honorable mentions: Tyrantrum, Aerodactyl, Tyranitar, etc. Ghost. Oh boy. Cofagrigus. But Haunter's strapped in there too. By the way, Duskull makes awesome fusions. Favorite dragon. Between these three. I've had more experience with Dialga and Haxorus. Yeah, this is hard. Team Sky. Yeah, it's between these two. I've had more. I got more history with Hydreigon. The Darkrai is tied to. There's Steel type Bastion. I feel like it's so underrated. It has a wall for a face, or a shield for a face, or whatever. Favorite fairy type? Um, Tied between Darkspawn, Gardevoir, and Azumarill. I feel like if I pick Gardevoir, people are gonna think the wrong things, but I'm going with it. I don't care what people think. Favorite starter? I've got to go with it. Torterra, but for Alligator is tied as well. Favorite gimmick overall? Hisuian Samurott. Favorite legendary? And I consider mythicals legendaries as well. It'll be a tie again. Like a four-way tie between Rayquaza, Darkrai, Zekrom, and Koraidon. Feels wrong not having Haunter in this list. I think I've gotta do it. I love Arbok too, the same though. Who have I had the most history with? It is a three-way tie, four-way tie between these four, but I'm picking Koraidon. Favorite overall. Here's the hardest decision, or at least one of them. We've got Haunter, Feraligatr, Duskull, Torterra, Cofagrigus, Tyrantrum, Alolan Marowak, Hisuian Samurott, Skeledirge, Dunsparce, Chandelure, Raikou, Vulpix, Alolan Vulpix. Sorry, I had a brain fart. I was zoning out. Koraidon, Crocodile, Sigilif, Mew, Shuckle, Rhyperior, Rayquaza, however you. Hydreigon, Bastion, and Gardevoir. There's so I wish I could pick all of these. And this grid is different than the one I had last time. Um, Previously I had picked Cofagrigus, but I do believe I have to pick him. Haunter. Haunter is the Pokemon that I have the most history with. Any game where he's available, especially games where Cofagrigus is not, I go for Haunter. Plain and simple. Can't turn my back on him now. Now, here's the last part. We're going to go through this as fast as possible. Now, team. I know most YouTubers haven't done this part, but I'm going to. Team Cofagrigus. Oh, wait, you gotta. Rhyperior, Crocodile, excuse me, Crocodile, Matera, for Alligator, and I'm not worrying about performance or stats or anything like that. I'm picking favorite. Oh, whoops. I accidentally clicked. A dragon. Alligator was the first Pokemon I ever had. Well, that line. And Haunter. Regional bird. These I'm not going to explain. Rookity. They're a mammal. Bidoof. Which should need an explanation. Bug. Venipede. So the legendary I don't even need to think about. There are honorable mentions though. Salamence, Metagross, Garchomp, Excalibur. Goodra is the odd one out. I'm not listing that as one of them, but and you got Tyranitar as well. Favorite Pikachu clone? This is a cool concept. I'm going with Pachirisu. Third evolution. They're all great. Well, I wanted to say this, but I think I gotta go with Eevee. Because without Eevee, you couldn't have any of these. Favorite fossil. Favorite fossil. All of these are great. I haven't used Bastion, I don't think ever in a main game. But now he's back in Indigo Disc. I'm gonna change that. But it's between these two. I gotta pick Bastiodon. But I mean, I also haven't used Tyrantrum because, as I said, didn't play the Gen 6 games. What category is this? Favorite regional form? I think you get the point. Favorite G-Max? It's between Sandaconda and Centiskorch and Orbeetle. It's Sandaconda. Favorite baby? Definitely not. Sorry to any of you that actually like it. Sandile should be included in this. Not all of these evolve more than once, like Smoochum or Wobbuffet or Tyrogue or Munchlax or Toxel or Mantite. Most of these only evolve once. Chingling, Riolu, Bonsai, Mime Jr. Did I already say why not? Why not say it again? If Sandile was in there, it would be picked. Riolu? Yeah. They're box legendary. It's between these two. I gotta pick it at least once. Favorite mythical, that's easy. Volcanion and Mew and them. And Victini and Arceus, of course. The Darkrai. I've still never used an Arceus before, but how are we looking on time? Almost 3 hours. Nobody's gonna watch this. Ultra Beast, I don't really care. But I'll go with Mr. Building. Favorite Paradox, Coridon and Miraidon. Coridon and Miraidon were the first to be brought to the present. What is the coolest one to me? Hydroidon is not as good as Hydreigon. It would feel wrong not picking Coridon. Why couldn't they have all had names like Coridon and Miraidon? Coridon and Miraidon's names aren't just two words. Favorite type has always been Ghost type, followed by Dragon type, and Dark and Ground. There isn't a type I dislike, but if I did, it'd be Fairy type, just because it's the least used type for me. Quick Ball is my favorite, but fun fact for you, this is a park ball. It works like a Master Ball. So, I mean, it's even rarer than a Master Ball. I'm just going with this because 6 teams all over the place. Go on. I love my country, but the Pokeball one is good too. I do not care about this. I'm just going with blue with blue, or blue with green, I guess. I don't really care. I've never used that Pokemon. Though it does have an interesting evolution technique in Gen 8, Gen 9. At least the thing is in Gen 8. I don't know. Wait a second. Is that Gen 8 Pokemon? Felt like a Gen 6 Pokemon to me. Well, with Slurpuff in them. New Evo. No. Again, I don't hate Runerigus. I just much prefer Coffagrigus. I feel like I've got to go with Rhyperior. Legends Arceus. If there was one for favorite game, oh god, that would be a tough one. It'd be between Scarlet and Arceus, but I'd have to go with Arceus because it allowed me to use a lot of Pokemon I never got to use as a kid due to them being trade evolutions. That's what my favorite Pokemon are of every generation and type. Now, there is something I was mentioning earlier that I decided to wait for. Cries. Favorite cries. Charizard is a good one. Um, Electabuzz has a decent one. Lapras. Haunter has a cry that I will never forget. Arbok is a good one too. And over the years, some Pokemon's cries were updated. Like Onyx has a good one nowadays. Not so much back in the day, but Alakazam is pretty decent. Aerodactyl. Hell yeah. As I said, Haunter, Relegator. Dunsparce has a good one. I have to agree with PM7. Dunsparce, he deserved way better. Um, some of these I'm forgetting right now. Raikou, definitely. Wailord, Glalie, Blaziken, probably Groudon, Salamence, Duskull, Rayquaza. I forget what Sharpedo's is like, and Metagross. Gardevoir is decent. Um, Bidoof is iconic. Rotom as well. Rotom, whatever. Floatzel's cry sounds like he's having a good time. Got a stand-up comedy show or something. Torterra, I will never forget. Frostlass not bad. Yeah, let's speed through this now. Mamoswine, Rhyperior, Dusknoir, Yanmega, Dialga, Darkrai, Mastodon, Garchomp, Cofagrigus, Hydreigon, Haxorus, Sigilyph, Crocodile, sounds like an electric guitar, Chandelure, Trevenant, Tyrantrum. I know I'm including a lot of my favorites, but they also have good cries. I don't know the Gen 8 ones well enough. The past Paradox Pokemon, Rhydon, Skeledirge, sounds really cool. Warsworm, not bad. Doxman. And yeah, we're finally at the end of this. Sorry for all the torture. Gonna get this uploaded. Thank you